You are one of the most senior women in global banking and global finance. Is it more difficult to run a Latin culture?
No, I don't believe. I mean, I lived for many years outside of Spain, so for me personally, I find it, as long as I can communicate, and I've been very upfront about having everybody share a common language, which of course is English. I feel very comfortable with all the cultures where we operate.
Why are there so few women at the top of the financial industry?
Not just financial industry. I mean, even in the political world or in the central bank world. I was recently at a meeting with central bankers, and I have to say there was a global meeting. I believe there were 3 out of 35 were women. So
one is my boss. One of them is my boss. Okay.
One of them is your boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Head of the Norwegian Central Bank. She is our chair.
So, there's a number of reasons, and I'm trying to do as much and not enough, I have to say, as I can to make sure that it's much easier at the board level to get to reasonable levels. It's obviously much harder when you want to make sure that you have a meritocracy and you give everybody a chance in your organization. So we have set targets, and we are going from 20 to 30% of women in senior leadership roles in I think 5 years, 6 years. There's a number of reasons. One is, and there's a lot of evidence in this, that let me just give you 2 that are proven. I've seen lots of studies on this. One is that women do not put themselves forward for a new role, for a more senior role, unless they're more than 100% qualified. Men tend to put themselves forward when they're 30, 40, 50% qualified, which is great. So, one thing we're working on is how can we give women the confidence to actually come forward and say, yes, I want to have a chance at getting that new job. And this happens across industries, not just finance. Yeah. The other one is what they call the maternity tax or paternity tax in some cases, but it's mostly women that obviously pay the price. We've seen that in many cases. So careers are very parallel between men and women until you have a family, and then the woman tends to have most of their or assume most of that responsibility, and then the gap goes like this, right? So again, how can we get around those issues? Mentoring, having support for the families.